Hi, I'm Chad, and I'm back this week with part 2 of our Scottish Quaich project. I hope you checked out my video last week where I turned this, which is our winged cup that is going to be the blank for today's project. So as you know, a quaich is a drinking cup with two handles. So this week we're going to shape those handles and then add a little flair, probably with some carving, maybe burning, something like that. There's lots of possibilities for a piece like this, so I'm just going to walk you through my kind of thought process or artistic process or whatever. First, I've got a bowl. Old bowl has just been laying around. That's just to give me a stable surface to work with. You could use things like plastic stencils. I use them occasionally. I will see if I get to those today. Pencils, an eraser, and this is striping tape. It's about an 1/8 inch wide. It's just paper masking tape, and you can get it in all sorts of colors, but I like it because you can just, tear off a little piece, use it to make a shape, and if you don't like it, you peel it up and reshape it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So here's one example of a design, and as you can see, I just eyeballed it, laid the tape out. If it didn't look right, peel it up, adjust it a little bit, and you can see that these are not symmetrical. So I can relay that tape, or if I was working with a perfectly rectangular piece and I was nice and centered, you can use the corners as reference points and the midway points and stuff like that. So your lines don't have to be deadly accurate because we're going to sand them and shape them, so that'll give some opportunity to make them a little more symmetrical and match a little bit better if they're not quite right when you first lay them out. So with a design like this, had I been planning ahead, I could have actually turned some grooves in there as part of the ornamentation. Or in this case, I could burn those, either as lines or with, any number of the, available patterns for burning tools. I'll erase this real quick, show you one more example, and then we'll move forward with the design I'm going to go. As you can see, there's lots of options for decorating a piece like this. You know, in addition to the handle shapes that I just showed you, you can add carving, burning, you can add color if you wanted to, you know, and that may be over the whole piece, that may just be on part of it. But I'm going to go with a pretty simple shape today. The next step from here is going to be to trace our tape lines, and then I always trace on the outside also, just to give myself a little extra wiggle room. The next step for this piece is going to be to cut out the handle shape, and to do that I'm going to use a Dremel, and I like to use these, they're mini like CNC milling bits. They're pretty good for kind of tracing a line and actually cutting through some amount of thickness of wood, and you know, they come in all sorts of different sizes, and these are super cheap. For the Dremel, I just have standard Dremel flex shaft and just an old Dremel I got at a garage sale. I burnt out my good one after a few years, and I have several others laying around. You don't have to invest in a Fordham to do a project like this. So I got my handles traced, and really, if you wanted to, you could figure out a way to cut this on the bandsaw, probably upside down, maybe with a little piece of scrap under there to support it, but it's easy enough to do it with the Dremel, and I'm going to be using it to do some other ornamentation anyway, so we'll just stick with that for today. So as you can see, precision and a steady hand are not required to do this project. That normally I would have done that in my lap, and it would have been a lot easier. I've never actually tried to do it on a flat surface before. Also, a lot of times I'll just score the wood with a couple of passes, and then use you know, a little saw. I've got a variety of little saws that I've made for carving, and I'll use one of those. Once it's scored, it's a lot easier to, you know, keep it on the path, which, like, that matters here. But this will all be cleaned up with sanding, and you know, that's another good thing about it, is there's plenty of opportunities to fix any mistakes. So let's see. Next, I'm going to sand it, clean it up, get the sides rounded over, yeah, get it into a decent looking shape, and then we will come back and look at a little ornamentation for the handles. I sanded the piece down. It's about like 180 right now, and as you can see, I was able to, refine a lot of the shape. I would give this a meh. You know, that's one good thing about this project is when you're not recording a video, you can get through it pretty quickly. Since I'm not too crazy about the way this is going so far, I'm going to do something I did on a previous piece, and I'm thinking it might be enough to kind of break it up and distract from the things that I don't like about this. To do that, I've got these carbide burrs. You can get them online. This set of whatever 10 there is 10 or 15 bucks. They work pretty well. These are double cut. I like these better than the single cut. And I'm basically just going to carve circles until I pierce through, and then go on the back and carve circles, and so they kind of meet somewhere in the middle there. So the carving went much better once I got the drill out and made the holes with it. And you know, sometimes you just gotta figure out what works for the particular project you're working on. After that, using a variety of different burrs, I just opened the holes up, kind of rounded them over a little bit, gave it a little kind of weathered look, and you know, that helps to kind of conceal some of the things I didn't like before. So the final step to wrap up our two-part Quaich project is to sign it and oil it. And I'm using my usual oiled linseed oil, mineral spirits, and polyurethane mix in equal parts. And it works great for all sorts of pieces. So here we have it, our finished Quaich. I hope you enjoyed the project. Thanks for watching. As always, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chattiums Woodworks, Etsy shop Chattiums Woodworks. You know, let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Also, if you want to check out my video library, I do have a handful of winged bowl videos, and you know, of course, any of those you could embellish with these techniques as well. So I hope you'll check those out. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.